Happy Saturday, everyone. It is Rona with Road Trip to Wellness, and I'm so very excited to bring you this episode of Road Trip to Wellness. I had lots of surprises in this episode, interviewing Miss Tahlia L'Oreal, the one you seek, your mystic, your cosmic messenger, and timeline influencer. She is so many things. And so, today I am interviewing here in Indianapolis, Indiana, Tahlia L'Oreal. She is a medium. She is a spiritual guide. She is all of the things that I just shared, and she fully embodies every aspect of herself, which is absolutely why I wanted to interview her. So I had the opportunity to meet Tahlia a few months back and was just drawn to her magnetic energy of just being an amazing spiritual person and mystic. And so she has several events around the city that she does. And what I love is that Tahlia is really drawing lots of people in that are feeling the shifts that are happening in our world, in our timeline, and she is just really creating spaces, safe spaces for those of us who are spiritual or mystics, mediums, just every part of spirituality. She is creating safe spaces for those people to come together. Her mystical mixers are places where mystics can party, just like she says in this episode. You'll hear we get together and we talk about spirituality and we share our spiritual gifts. And I'm so grateful to have gotten to know her. I received a reading from her and it was very, very powerful. And I just wanted to share this beautiful soul with you as well. So we talk about so many different things on this episode. You'll hear us discussing her being a medium and how she fully embodies that, how she fully embodies every layer of herself, being sensual, the divine feminine, the divine masculine. We touch on so many spiritual concepts and ideas in this episode that I think are important for everyone. And so then sit back, relax, take a listen, and get to know a little bit more about Tahlia L'Oreal. All of her information will be in the description box for you guys to reach out to her, to attend any of her events or to partake in any of the services that she offers. And as we're talking about Tahlia's events, Full Moon Magic, the Mystical Mixer, is happening tonight, April 16th, from 7 until. And she will be doing a full moon in Libra ritual. The full moon in Libra is tonight. There will also be food and libations and readings, but amazing manifestations happen with Tahlia at the helm and really putting her big energy into the ritual for your manifestation. But again, just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. And so the next voices you'll hear, just like you hear your pastor say in church, if you're a church person, the next voices you will hear will be the personal spiritual conversation that I had with Tahlia L'Oreal. And I'm just delighted to share. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope you're able to take away some nuggets to really use in your own life or to help you fully embody every aspect of yourself. So let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe this episode. Like, share, and subscribe the Road Trip to Wellness podcast. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Next up is Miss Tahlia L'Oreal. Hi, welcome to Road Trip to Wellness. This is your host, Rona, and I am super excited today to bring y'all one of the most magical people I've met in a very long time. I'm super excited that I am sitting here speaking to the one you seek, Tahlia L'Oreal. You should hear the crowd.
I'll cheer for myself.
Yes. I am so excited. I had the opportunity to meet Tahlia at a spiritual event. It was a mystical mixer, and it was about the 5D. I just remember that's what the flyer said, and I was invited by a friend. I get there, and I see this. First of all, this amazing lady was in a dressing room. I mean, getting beat to death. Like, she was coming out flying. I'm like, oh my God. And I even thought about it today as I was getting ready. I'm like, she has like a whole Diana Ross, like, yes, like, all that whole vibe. I was like, oh my gosh, who is, is this the person that's putting it on? And as we got started, as the evening got started, amazing people began to come out and share their spiritual gifts that I have always been interested in, but just really had never had the opportunity or didn't feel like I could explore. And then this amazingly beautiful lady walked out. She was the headliner for the event, and it was Miss Tahlia L'Oreal, aka the one you seek, and she began to channel. Right there, first time I've been in a room where somebody was actually channeling from the energy that they were feeling in the room, and she had notes, and you should have seen the faces of the people that were like, that is me, that's my family. Tahlia, welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow, Rona, that was like an amazing intro. One of the best.
Well, because I was amazed. I really, really was amazed. And I'm so excited. Thank you for inviting me into your home. Thanks for doing this interview and just sharing your story, and then just educating us and teaching us too about spirituality. I've been studying for the last maybe almost 20 months now. Spirituality, all aspects of spirituality. Right. And of course, mediumship came up, and tarot and astrology and all of those things. And so to really begin asking to have those people and those opportunities come into your life, and then have someone like you show up, has been super, super awesome. And I'm just so grateful to know you. So tell us about you. Tell us a little about yourself.
Wow. So me, the core of me, in this what I call meat suit. My flesh, my 3D. I am a mother of 2 beautiful daughters. I have a 13-month-old daughter, Cairo, and then I have a 17-year-old daughter, Zaya. So there's a big gap there, but everything divinely timed and aligned. But I'm a mother. And that's a position that I just am, period. Even if I didn't have any children, I would just be a mother. I feel very connected to the divine feminine energy. So any person or group or animal or whatever I come into contact with, I just want to love it. I just want to heal it. That came with some learning and some ups and downs of life, So, with that being said, I grew up in a relatively, large family, but in my household at the time, we had 4. My mother had 4 kids, and I was the middle child of 4 kids. And then later on, 16, 17 years later, she has my little brother Gabe, who's now 19. So it's weird. Like, our family is kind of just kind of spread out. But yeah, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. I just try to be overall a good person. But ultimately, I just want to embody what that Christ consciousness love is, when you just do everything from love. Like, love heals everything.
I love it.
And that does not come without boundaries or lessons or anything. But when you embody love, you just can't lose.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but I am spiritually, quote unquote, speaking, and I'm careful about labels. But in the 3D, we need labels sometimes. That's just the world that we live in. But I consider myself like a cosmic messenger, a medium.
Oh my God, I love that.
Pretty much somebody that channels pure consciousness on all levels, from whatever you need to hear, whoever I need to come in contact with, whether, I just need to give you a quick energy check about something that you need to be aware of, whether I need to read your whole life through tarot, whether I just need to tell you Aunt Susie needs to give you a message, if I need to help you with your business, whatever that is, I'm channeling from a place of love. And, that's kind of what I want to embody, and I feel like what I want to share, because love heals as well. So yeah,
I love that. cosmic messenger. I love that. I absolutely love that. So have you always had this gift? Have you always known that you've had the gift of being a messenger? Did you know that you were a messenger starting off, or?
I always felt different and far more sensitive, even though I didn't show a lot of emotions growing up as a child. I felt everything very deeply. I could sense energy then, but it really didn't happen until I was about 6 years old and I drowned in a pool. I've told this on another interview. I think I've only probably said it 2 or 3 times ever, but I actually drowned. I was swimming with my brothers and sisters, brothers and stepsister on my dad's side of the family, but we were all kids. I was 6 and I think the oldest person there was like 12 or 13, but ended up drowning. And when I was under the water, I mean, guys, if I told y'all how much time, like what transpired when they noticed that, first of all, I was gone, they thought that I walked home. They didn't even think, oh, she might be in, they're just doing their own thing.
Was it a pool?
It was a public pool. It was like an apartment complex. It was an apartment complex and we were the only ones there. And they just maybe looked up and wondered where I went and did I wander off. They're not thinking that I was down
in the pool.
So there was time, not to go too far deep into that story, but there was a lot of time that passed as I'm under the water, and I just remember what that felt like to feel my toe slip on that slope and like start swallowing water, gasping for breath, and just ultimately like giving up. So I remember falling asleep, quote unquote, and waking up still under the pool, and I saw this like light, this like bright, like the burning bush. That's what I can think of. It's like a bright light in the corner of the pool. I'm still in the water. I'm looking at this, and it's like, I think it said relax or go to sleep or something like that. I want to say it said just relax. And I just remember drifting back off to sleep and waking up with all kind of tubes and everything. Like it was a lot. And from that point, a lot of things, I went through a traumatic period of my life where, shortly after I lost my brother on my dad's side, my half brother, who was actually at the pool with us. I lost him. He was 11 when he passed away. And then it was like my grandma on my dad's side. It was like a lot of loss after that. But and I felt like I was already still connected. And even though there was a sense of sadness attached to it, I always felt like, well, they're still here.
Oh, wow.
Energetically, but I never knew as a child what that meant.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? I never felt too sad. It was scary to see people cry and the emotions of, but part of me was like, oh. So anyway, after that, I was like in like a lot of gifted classes. I wrote a lot. I journaled. I'm back to journaling in 2012. I started journaling again, but I used to write a lot, read a lot. I used to write in cursive at a very young age. Like it was a lot that I was doing, but I'm not knowing what or why. Not saying there's not gifted kids that do that as well and aren't psychic or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. But anyways, so yeah, from that point on, there was a lot of weird things going on that I couldn't explain growing up as a middle child with a lot of going on. My mom dealing with her own stress and anxiety. There wasn't really an outlet, but my family was always spiritual. We grew up missionary Baptist, and I was in church. I was in the church.
Missionary Baptist.
Yes, I was singing in the choir, going to midweek service, definitely. But I always was a very inquisitive student. I asked the right questions that would stump people sometimes, but they always loved me. In church, I wasn't a nuisance, but I did make people question things on a deeper level.
Absolutely. Always the teachers.
Yeah, and so I always feel like an old soul, even amongst grown-ups. But it wasn't until my grandmother passed away in 2018 where I'd already had little things, but that week of that, like being with her last 11 days of life and like basically assisting her with her transition, getting her affairs in order, taking her around, doing her hair, doing her nails. Like she knows exactly what's going on. We've met with hospice and everything, and she had asked me to do her makeup, and she had asked my aunt to do her hair, and she was very particular with everything, like getting everything in order. And it was like to see everybody around her crumbling, but to see her strength, even in the final breath. But throughout that whole 11 days, there was so much going on spiritually that I was experiencing. But not only that, as a family, we were experiencing stuff where people was like, did you see that? Did you hear that? Okay, why did that just fall? Like so much paranormal activity because that woman was so not only was she deeply religious, but she was an angel. Like, she was a real life matriarchal, divine feminine.
Oh
like, she's
my
right
gosh,
there,
that gives me chills. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I have a video of her. We went to her room because it was hard for a lot of people to do that, especially her daughters. But for some reason, we still all did it. Everybody played an integral level. My aunt, especially, because she had her in her home and took care of her every day. Getting togethers, and then I was like her primper and came in like we all had our roles, but it was still hard for them, and I wanted my mom and my aunts especially to like have their time to like step away. So I would take her like when she could like still walk. Like I said, this was like 11-day process. I took her to her old house, and we were going through stuff and looking at stuff and laughing at pictures, and she pulled out her Bible and read something and about death, like how to approach death. And I still have the video on my phone. In that moment, like I felt like, wow, she knows, like she's ready to go home. Like she knows that there's something there on the other side. And just to watch her gracefully, the way she did it, it was so dramatic, just like her too. Like the way she took her final breath and everything. But after that, it was like, phew, like I was we're hearing voices, seeing things in my mind, I having dreams, seeing like stuff happen before. I hadn't had a tarot card or anything yet. And, excuse me, sorry.
No, please don't be sorry. Please don't be sorry. Thank you for sharing.
Because even as a deeply religious woman who grew up strictly, missionary Baptist, like she was really like, she knew like there was more than just being boxed in with religion, and like just to like, it was an honor to be there with her. And like, it was like she just kind of gave, I feel like she just gave me some of the gifts, all of the gifts she had. I don't know. I feel like all the women in my family are deeply like spiritual and borderline psychic. It's in her. So I feel like, but I feel like at that point, I feel like she knew, like it was like a passing of the torch in a sense of like, but in a way of a more enlightened version, because each generation after you was more and more enlightened. That's just the way of this evolution. So it's like she knew that I could take what she had, like that woman's funeral, like everything about her. Nobody had anything bad to say about that woman, and I seen it. I witnessed it at her funeral. I seen who all came out. Like even restaurants putting her name like in the city, like like wow, like they were showing her love, like because that's how many lives she touched just in her town alone, like. And I just want to take that, and I want to do that and do it bigger and better, and like break the curses and the cycles that maybe prevented her from maybe, she shared with us that she had regrets, and as we all do in life,
Absolutely.
But I want to take that and I want to just expand it and like break that almost like close, but damn, I just fell back into my old ways, or the, whatever it is. We all have our shadows, and sometimes the shadows win some lifetimes.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I felt like that's not a choice for me. I already know what I'm destined to do. And I feel it. Can I see the full picture yet? No, because God said if I would show you everything, you wouldn't do it. You would be
absolutely.
scared. You would doubt yourself. So I have to prune you and prepare you through these cycles of life. So when it's time, like like everything that you've learned and been through, it doesn't have to be so tragic situations. Some are, or some could just be like I had a bad divorce, or I lost a child, or anything, certain catalyst in your life that push you. A pet, anything, or I got in a bad accident. There's so many things that awaken people for whatever reason. It's like, okay, so now what? Like, what do you do with that information? So yeah, that from 2018 onward, I started channeling up the creativity and downloads I was getting through parties. I was doing a lot of promoting of parties and hosting, and helped like celebrities that came in town, like showing them.
Here in Indianapolis?
Yes.
Where was I at?
Tahlia Speaks Media, but it was through Icon Lounge. I had like 3 or 4 events at Icon Lounge, and that's how I know how to throw a party, honestly. Like I know how to bring people together. I know how to make people have a good time and make people feel like they can let their hair down. But I felt like I ran its course in that type of realm, what I mean? Because it was very heavy and sensitive, and it was actually, although it was so fun, I learned so much. It was a fun summer. It was a lot of darkness and different aspects of my life, things that I needed to tend to that I put off, and I had to withdraw. And from that point, like maybe I feel like it was like May or June of 2019. I was like, okay. And I just got deep in my spirituality. And my friend Santi, the Vibe Priestess, who the DJs all of my events, she always helps set the
She's
vibe.
She's amazing. She does set the vibe.
Yeah, she's got the Tantric Yoga event that she's doing that I'll be helping with and speaking at the coming days. But she gave me some tarot cards because she was like, I just wanted her to have something where it was like, she's not going up to people saying stuff and then looking like, what the hell? You know,
right.
She was like, well, here, use these. And it's like a fun, more, you know what I'm saying, interactive way with visuals. And I wasn't feeling it at first. She was like, no, just give it a chance. And when I learned it, it was like, oh my God, it opened up a whole new world for me to channel these messages and use the tarot to even read people from the other side. I don't need that, but tarot is an awesome tool. It's like any divination tool. Some people use palmistry.
That's what I always say. It's a tool, people. It's a tool. It can help you so much.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it's one of the many things, like oracle cards. Some people use spiritual I mean, people use tea leaves. Like, you just never know.
I use a pendulum.
Cowrie shells.
Yes.
It's like, it's all channeling the divine. And yes, there's duality. There's always going to be duality in everything. It's like there's good and bad people in the quote-unquote church. There's going to be good and bad people in the spiritual community, or people that have spiritual gifts that use them for things. I mean, it's happening now in our world, first of all. So that's a whole other topic. But yeah, it's just another form of communicating with the divine. I don't need these tools, but I enjoy them. When I do my events, I don't use the tarot. I don't use any cards. But
no, she does not,
or anything like that.
Incredible.
I do that for engagement. So yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for
welcome.
sharing.
I didn't expect to throw all that up, guys.
That's okay. That's all right. And actually, I have that written down because, and I'm always on the verge of tears, I feel like. So I'm always like, so if you do see a tear, that's my life. That's like me in life. And that's the exact word, Tahlia, because this, for me here, another one of my prayers, I did an interview actually last year on vulnerability. And as I was speaking I was doing a meet and greet with Chanel Barrett. Hi, Chanel. Mm-hmm. She was the coach that I was having on to talk about vulnerability. And when I did the meet and greet with her, we did it over Zoom, and I couldn't even get the word vulnerability out because I started crying.
Oh, my God.
And I did not stop crying for a good second. That's how I knew. So I love that you were able to be that vulnerable. It's still a struggle for me in being vulnerable. So how are you so vulnerable with your gifts and just being able to, open yourself up in that way and share with people? You just shared something deeply personal. Yeah. How do you do that? And I'm trying to learn because I'm like, I can be very closed off. I really can. I can be quite rigid sometimes. Yeah. And so just how do you just freely do that? Have you always felt free enough to be vulnerable?
No, definitely. I had to go through a couple dark nights of the soul and evolution and growth to really access my emotions. That's how I'm able to channel so clearly, because my heart is open and I'm very pure-hearted. My intentions are always from the highest of source, from spirit. And so with that, it's like I can't go wrong. It's always going to work for me. Vulnerability is a strength. It's a great strength, not a weakness. And using your emotions to really get down to what it is that drives you, good or bad, what slows you down. And I think that embracing those parts, for part of me, having a lot of strong Virgo placements, I am very critical of myself. Yes, gang. I'm very critical of myself. I have a perfectionistic view on things sometimes that I had to learn how to release. Yes. Because it brought me a lot of heartache.
It's hard, you guys. We're working on it. Yes. We are working on it.
Yes. But when you open your heart and once you do that, like you said, you just randomly started crying. Mm-hmm. As soon as you even were starting to say the word vulnerable or begin to open your heart. And that was probably a lot of built up tears and emotions that you possibly didn't allow yourself to feel or to cry, to make space for new and better experiences. So that's how when we hold on to that resentment, like I am like, my heart is very like, guys, like something might hurt me and I might this is after growth, because I'm not perfect. I might still hold with a bitter taste, but I'm never going to mistreat you or wish you ill.
Absolutely.
I'll lay a boundary, but I'm never going to want to see you suffer or have karma or anything like that. And that is why God continues to bless me in the things that I want and the things that I am deliberate with and intentional about. It's because I genuinely want to help people. Or when I go into a situation or establishment, whether it's a business, personal, friendship, or a relationship, I'm really coming from the highest intention of just to love somebody or to help. So with that being said, I was able to purge my own emotions, because that's how you become a clear channel for spirit. Alana Fairchild, which is a really good oracle, I love her decks. Shout out to her. She said something in one of her decks, I think it was the Lightworker Oracle or one of those. She was like, you are meant to be a clear channel for spirit. You are meant to channel divine messages for yourself and others. That is part of your destiny. However, there's still some healing. There's still some release that needs to be worked on. I'm getting big chills on this. She said, like a glass, that's a cloudy glass of water that has sediment and everything in it. That sediment is emotions, past trauma, hurt, regret, shame, whatever. And as you start to process that and sift through it, then it falls to the bottom, and then there's the clear, purest glass of water with the dirt on the bottom, because you've channeled that. Now what you're getting is pure love, pure consciousness, you know? So I always keep that in mind. So when I feel like sometimes I'll go off the grid with my readings on YouTube or stuff, because I want to be a clear channel. I don't ever want to bring my own stuff, even though sometimes my own stuff does come up, but it's not anything that's I'm actively like, oh my God, so broken down about. It could be past, like I said, past, present, future. But the bottom line is, I want to purge that so I can be a clear channel. So if there are a lot of naturally psychic people or people with spiritual gifts, it doesn't have to be psychic or mediumship. It could be any spiritual gift. You're naturally, at first, very emotionally detached. You try to be. Your emotions make you uncomfortable.
Yes.
Seeing people cry, seeing people, whatever, it makes you uncomfortable. Even though things could be deeply, deeply hurtful and traumatizing to you, something about releasing that is very hard for people that are naturally gifted, because there's something about feeling that it's like you feel everything. And you don't even know it's so deep. You know what I mean? Because you're naturally very psychic and intuitive and empathic. So that's why spirit works with us through these lessons to slowly but surely prepare us for whatever that is. Because we know life is like the infinity sign. As above, so below. You have your highs, you have your quote-unquote lows, but how you experience them is from the highest. So it's not always as bad as we think. So.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for teaching us. And I did another event with a friend, and so when we were talking about the vulnerability piece, it made me think her event was called Unzipped, and she talked about unzipping the jackets that we wear, you know, these peeling back these layers, which is why that I came to that question, like, so who are you? That's what I'm like, I want to know who Tahlia is. We're pulling back these, but your jackets though, let's talk about this, because I just saw you have an event coming up on the 12th, and I see her in another light. The graphics for it were freaking amazing, like the fluorescent on the side, the pink fluorescent. And every time I see you, it's like you're a different person. Like you're a new person. You embrace you're so authentic. And I feel like sometimes I am not. And how did you get there to be able to just freely? She just recently did a reading for me, and my God said I need to pop out. So I need work. I need help. And I need work.
We all do.
On the pop out. But you looked amazing, Tahlia. Your graphics are beautiful. She always looks just incredible.
Y'all can see me now, though. She see the real.
But that's it. And that you being your authentic self, you know, that's what it is, though. And I love seeing all of those sides. And so how did you get to be able to first of all, see, I'm getting excited. So let me backtrack just a little bit in getting there with the spirituality piece and you channeling and being a medium. And you speaking a little bit about your family. do they embrace you being a medium? I know your mom has been at some of your events.
Yes. I definitely, first of all, my mom's going to support her kids, even whether or not she agrees with the holy or think wholeheartedly or whatever. She does. She's definitely opened up. She's like seeing it because I'm her child, so she definitely supports me in all aspects. But she's also one of those moms like, if you like it, I love it.
I know.
Baby
That's my mom's favorite thing to say. That's my mom's thing.
Yeah, so she gonna always support. Thank you, mama. But okay, so you asked me, I'm sorry, I just went off on a tangent there, about how do I
embrace your
that?
authenticity, but also being able to just freely be who you are as a medium and tarot reader with your family.
Yeah, I think that they do. They get it. And some, I've heard rumors of some things said to me, but it's the typical stuff. I mean, that we hear in the religious community, because that's how my family grew up. A majority of them grew up very religious, missionary Baptist. So there may be some eyebrows raised. There may be some hush hush talk in the background, but I don't really care. Ultimately, when I see my family, they show me love and support, and they ask questions, and they're opening up to it. But I just recently learned, interesting enough, because on my mom's side of the family, I have the matriarch who I was telling you guys about. Her name is Mamie, but we called her Tutu.
So cute.
Assisting her. Yes, she always had the cutest names. That's Hawaiian for grandmother, I think. But
love it.
So she's already deeply spiritual. But then most recently, when I went home to Evansville, Indiana, where I'm from, I was talking to my dad's side of the family.
A minute, Tahlia. Sorry to interrupt the interview, but I am from Evansville.
No, you're not.
Tahlia, listen here. See how
always these things, right?
This is so cray. Born and raised,
wow.
Tahlia.
Well, there's a reason for everything. That's all I can say.
You should see. Oh my God. Anyways, she went to Evansville, Indiana, her hometown. That's insane.
Yeah. What high school did you go to?
Bossy.
I went to Bossy too.
Y'all, I'm about to shut it. We're about to shut this down.
Oh, I can't make this.
God, you play too much.
I know that's why I love
too much.
being in this spiritual energy and just like the high vibes. It's like you never. These are the type. This is the magical world we live in, guys. This is my everyday life. There's always magic around.
I'm about to cry myself. I'm like, this is insane. Wow. Okay. That is crazy.
Yes.
I just assumed that you were from Indianapolis.
No. I've lived here a long time, but
me as well.
I'm not, no.
Wow.
So about Harm's Una Pizza.
Yes.
That's where they had my grandma's name, because like when she passed away, when I was like, the restaurant, I put a name up, and then these people from school, like it was a lot. Like,
yes.
Yeah, they used to call my grandpa that passed away Boss Dog. He passed away when I was 2, because he was always at the Bossy's basketball games yelling and screaming.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely got a rich history with Bossy High School. Shout out Bulldogs.
Yes, shout out Bulldogs. Incredible.
Crazy.
That blew me away. Wow.
Wow, that is very nice. That's insane.
That's amazing. Makes me even happier now.
I love it. I love it so much. But so I don't even know where. I feel like after that,
I know, right?
Like trying to wheel it back in. I can't remember what I was talking about.
Oh, you were just telling us about your family embracing.
And just embracing it, and my dad's side. So I was spending time with them when I went home to Evansville. That's where it was, and they were telling me about a great grandmother that I had. Her name was Fanny, and I remember her sending me a picture of her back when I was pregnant with Kyra, and was like, yeah, they're in this book. I thought you might be interested to know, about, our family being in this book. And she's Indian. She looked still very, very brown, dark skin. And then my grandpa, my great grandpa or whatever, he was in the picture, and I was like, Fannie Mae Garrison, and some other names. And they were like, yeah, Fannie Mae. They said Fanny was a fortune teller, and she could read your fortune with cards and all this other stuff. And I was like,
wow,
this is already like
yes.
in my blood.
Yes.
This is all part of me. So interesting enough, after finding that out, I was like, the next time I move, I'm getting a crystal ball, so I got it when I moved into this place. I got a crystal ball,
Love it.
so I could scry, because I felt like that was part of, I don't know, but yeah,
The works that you do. So tell us a little bit more about your work.
Okay.
What you do.
So I am, gosh, it's so hard to put into words. So, okay, Tahlia Speaks Media is my media branding company that works with people like myself and other brands and businesses and artists and musicians to help brand their businesses and whatever it is they're trying to bring to life. That's my everyday business that I was doing for a long time. But now, the one you seek, and official mystical mixer and a mystic space, which is something new I'm working on that will be coming to fruition hopefully within the next few months. It's all under the Tahlia Speaks Media umbrella. And so me, the one you seek, I am a spiritual medium. I am a high priestess. I mean, there's so many different things that I do. On top of all the events that I plan my events. I create the vibe. I have an aesthetic. I work with people to bring my vision to life, because everything I do embodies like what I'm channeling. That's how I channel my art into the 3D, aside from doing the readings every day or having my clients that I do spiritual teaching with talk about a lot of different things. I mean, I have a lot of knowledge that was gifted to me, and ancient knowledge and cosmic knowledge. I feel that depending on when people are ready for certain things, I'll give them that information, because they're seeking me out as the lighthouse. There's a difference than me going, like, there's several guys, it's FYI, there's several pages impersonating me out there. I will never, ever, ever in life solicit you for a reading. I will never ask for a palm picture, send a picture of anything. I will never do that.
Wow.
There are people that actually have lost money. A lot of people in the spiritual community are having these pages cloned, and people are getting scammed, and we've reached out to Instagram and nothing's really been done, and people are coming to us that's upset or whatever. I'm like, we're trying to get rid of this too. So just FYI, know that I will never reach out to you for a reading, and I will never go and condemn somebody that doesn't believe what I believe, or
absolutely, yeah,
or go out preaching to people and saying you need to do this and get your life together just because I have this knowledge. That's not what it's about. It's about living and embodying that, and those that seek you will come. And
the one you seek.
Yes, hence my name. So I do that full time. I have regular clients. I also, help other businesses with consulting services, which is always spiritual, whether they do it
absolutely.
or not back in the day, spiritually, but not necessarily just telling them, giving them business and creative ideas, helping them with their social media presence. But then now I'm on the market for just focusing on my spiritual business. So I'm actually looking to build a team of people that can help me with that. So that's what I'm in the process of now. I'm working with some dope people, just kind of testing out the waters to build a team to kind of support this movement that I'm trying to create for myself and ultimately for other people on a spiritual mission or feel they have a spiritual mission.
I love it. She's amazing at it. She's amazing at it. And speaking of events, I feel like Virgos, we always throw a good event, y'all.
Yes,
we always know what we're
host.
doing.
Yes.
We do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Talk to me a little bit about those events that you've been doing. I came to one of the mystical mixers. I believe that's what that one was, in the 5D.
Yes. Okay, hold that thought. I'm gonna go get Kai. Yeah.
No worries.
No worries. She might have to join us. All right. So 2022 has really been. It's kind of taken off for me as far as events. I kind of made a commitment to do several events this year. I wanted to do it every month, but then I had to listen to Spirit and say, when it's time to rest, relax, and wait for the next instructions. So on January 1st, I did Psychic Conversations in the 5D.
Yes.
And that was at Pee Wee Art Gallery. And I just channeled, had some spiritual vendors, had some other guest speakers to talk about different things. And then on 2/22/22, that's when I introduced the official mystical mixer brand or party, which is a party for the mystics. How mystics like to get down and have a good time. Not putting anything down about clubbing or anything like that, because we all do different things. But we're partying with intention. We're setting intentions. We're manifesting. We're coming together. And so creating that brand just opened me up. It kind of merged me back to my original, what I would already been doing, planning these parties and being good at and helping brands. And so so in 2/22/22 we did I can't even think of what it was called. My goodness. Oh yeah, it was the
It was the
official
mystical
mystical mixer.
yeah.
It's so different because now we have another one coming up. So I keep thinking I introduced the brand on 2/22/22 official mystical mixer, where we had some really dope artists there in attendance sharing their gifts, all of high vibrational music and sounds and frequencies, everybody feeling good. So I had Lava and Free Soul there, and Lava, she performed a lot of songs for us. She's a very, very, very talented musician, very, very gifted, just channel for the divine frequencies, the divine feminine. And then her partner Free was there, who's also a very, very gifted artist. So bringing them there and having people experience their vibes and their frequencies really took it to another level. So shout out to them. And some other things, high vibrational eats and teas and juices and punch. So everything was awesome. There was even an overnight option for some to make it like a sleepover, like an adult sleepover, where some people just stayed up to 3, 4, 5 in the morning reading cards, talking about things that maybe they can't discuss with anybody else. Oh, excuse me. You over here dancing. Can't discuss with anybody else. And we got up in the morning and everybody had some tea or some juice and just left.
Love it.
And it was awesome. And then so now I'm collaborating with my friend and sister Santi, also known as the Vibe Priestess, because she sets the vibes. She decided to launch the tantric movement workshop. She's very, very passionate about yoga, or just the stretching and just feeling good in your skin as a woman and in your body, and feeling good about your sexuality and wanting to feel and look sexy. That's okay, and so she's helping women embrace that. And so she invited me to be a part of her Tantric Tuesdays, which is basically teaching the spiritual aspect of Tantra and combining it with sacred movement.
I love
because
that.
When people see Tantra, and shout out to Santi for the dope idea. She actually made that flyer too. She's very gifted as well. She has the movements and the sexuality, and she was like, let's just talk about the spiritual aspect of it, and you would be a great piece to it. Because I was just gonna come like, girl, I want to learn.
Let's move.
And she was like, no. I was like, you know what? Yes, because I actually give services for balancing masculine and feminine energies within, and how tantric is a sacred dance between that. It's not all about sex. Sex is just
that's what I was just going to say. Can you talk to us a little bit more about this? Because I spoke about my friend's event. It was called Unzipped. She is an erotic artist. And so that was what she wanted that event to be about, was to help people understand this is not about sex. Like, we're not here doing erotic art just for the hell of it because we're being nasty. Like, this is a movement that we are creating. So how do you get people to understand that? I guess we can speak about the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and then talking a little bit more about Tantra. Right.
So, when we're born, and this is just my belief, or I don't know, I'm even hesitant to use the word believe. This is who I am, and this is what I embody. I feel like we embody the energy there. When we're pure consciousness, we're energy, we're in spirit. So because there is duality, the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, the masculine and feminine, we're born with all of that inside of us.
Yes.
Equal masculine and feminine energies.
Everybody. Even men.
Even no matter what gender you embody. So that is why there's so many colorful people in the world, as far as in the 3D. But there's always a masculine and a feminine energy that's more prominent in people. And then and how you resonate, whether divine masculine, divine feminine, is dependent on how you show up in the world in this 3D, But regardless, you there to create enlightenment and that step into the 5D, you have to keep that balance between the energies, that sacred dance, the sacred knowing when to move and knowing when to relax and allow, knowing when to feel and knowing when to take action. Knowing like the divine masculine is the part of us that strategizes, that protects, that takes action, that builds with his hands, quote unquote, his. It don't have to be his.
Yes,
but
glad you touched on that because I was thinking.
Right, and when we create the world, the masculine creates the world in the 3D. The feminine dreams it. We intuit into the world. Everything starts with the thought, right? Everything that we create starts with pure consciousness. So that is feminine energy, the intuition, the psychic, the loving, the creation, the dark, the security that a feminine can provide, the emotional security, whether divine masculine provides the security for the feminine to feel secure in her emotions. So it's a definitely very, very deep practice that has been ignored because it's been highly sexualized.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is what's going on with this world. There's a huge imbalance with the divine masculine and divine feminine energy.
Yes.
And that is why the world is the way that it is. And now, finally, things are trying to shift into a balance of the feminine in this age of Aquarius that we're going into, where the feminine energy is starting to rise and empower. We've seen it unfold past what you can start as early as the women's rights and all that stuff. There's other stuff we're working through, and I'm very careful about even hitting on that type of energy. But the bottom line is, the earth is feminine energy. Mother Earth,
yes,
Gaia, that's feminine energy, and she has been just either better abused or whatever in the past however thousands of years, and now it's time to come into balance. And so with that, there's destruction, there's arguing, there's
the
war,
struggle,
there's weather, there's all this stuff, and that as within so without, we're probably experiencing a lot of shifts and endings in our own life and changes that we had to go through to step to feel, which is feminine energy, right? So the Tantra is about using balance within to achieve enlightenment and to use that energy, that sacred merge of the divine feminine, divine masculine, which in my opinion creates that kundalini energy of the serpent rising and you becoming enlightened. And so when you are able to see both sides of everything, you're able to fully embody like that life force energy, that chi, that what the life force energy that we use to have sex, basically. Like, you know how to channel that, where Tantra is just that. It's just creating that energy. You don't need a person to do Tantra. You know what I'm saying? It's all about breathing and body movement, and the balancing and what you're thinking about and what you're willing, because everything's intentional, guys. Everything that you do is intentional. Sex is intentional. So it's like, that's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. So Tantra is about opening up the body to feel, because another way to manifest in the 3D is through movement. And Tantra is about movement and creating that manifestation through movement, the feminine energy, opening the body to roll and move and whatever, and it's like, masculines can do it too, whatever that looks like, but at the end of the day, it's all about that balance. And I think we're opening this class up to everyone, but ultimately feminists will benefit from this because we just want our feminists to feel again.
And I was going to mention, growing up religious and being a woman too, and then a black woman, and just how we're encouraged, I'm not going to say, pushed or pressed or oppressed into, we're pushed down our sexuality. Like we're not supposed we're not supposed to feel that. So that's why I was just so excited. And so when I saw that, I'm like, wow, they are like really going in. Like, this is what we need, is really, like you said, getting back to feeling again and being okay with the sexuality, the sexual pieces of ourselves.
And I think that is where our feminine has been cast aside, burned at the stake, condemned, just so mistreated because of the power of our energy and the sexual energy and the sensuality we naturally embody. It's intoxicating. It creates worlds. It can destroy. It is very powerful, but we all have it within, whether you're male or female. It's just about the balance. But the divine feminine, if the world just allowed the divine feminine to fully embody who she truly is and not put her in a box that you have to be a mother or you have to do this or you have to do that, then this world would heal like so much faster. And that's why it's up to the feminists to take that initiative, call our energy back to ourselves, first of all. Love on us, because we're so quick to give it to a lover or a job or somebody that doesn't deserve it more than we do, especially, and love on ourselves so we can stand in our power and attract that sacred opposite.
Absolutely.
Because you have to find that balance within. People claim they want a twin flame or a spiritual partner, a divine partner, or somebody, a masculine or feminine that's on the same type of spiritual stuff. Well, you need to get in balance then.
Yes.
Because if you haven't attracted it, that means that there's an imbalance here.
Yes.
And it's not, I mean, we all got to go through it. It's not, nobody out here, I mean, if you met your person at a very young age and y'all still married, kudos to you, you know. But I'm sure there was a lot of growth and evolution involved in that.
Absolutely.
And I think now we don't have to put ourselves through that unnecessary suffering anymore.
Yes.
If we can achieve and master self, everything else will fall in alignment.
That's a whole word right there. Achieve and master self, everything else will fall into alignment, people.
Yes.
That's the message right
I'm
there.
I'm telling you, when I took control of my life and really looked within and my own habits and shadow and things that I did well, giving myself praise for things that I did well, it was like I started to create my world, because instead of being and doing what society tells us a woman should do, or a man should do, or a mother should do, or a father should do. Of course, we want to take care of our responsibilities. That's why we have to be intentional about creation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to understand the power that we have. And so when we're more intentional with everything that we do, there's less just stress and heartache. And it's like you can fully embody somebody that, hey, you know, this is the life for me. Doing this and doing that, and what the government says is right with marriage or this and that, that's not for me. This is my life, and this is how I look at relationships, or this is how I look at money, and this is how I look at whatever. And you stand on that proud because you're in your authenticity, and you're not intentionally hurting or trying to do anything wrong to anybody else. You're just living your truth. But people are really scared of that.
They are very, very, very scared of that.
The powers that be are very scared of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Because then it's like, oh, they got it. The access to this knowledge that has been kept from us for so long, we're starting to gain knowledge and access to it. Thankful to the things like the internet. See, there's a good and the bad.
Yes, yeah.
You know, where we can look up things and find out, like us starseeds or whoever we need to get activated. We might not have had the information to let us know that we had a higher purpose if it wasn't for the internet.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to give thanks and use discernment, of course, with everything. But it's like, now that we have this knowledge, it's like, okay. And that's why, you know, there's a lot of false flags or different things that go on in the world and society to keep us at a certain vibration, to continue to control and manipulate our thoughts and what we pay attention to. Social media and becoming a consumer. We're building their world for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, by being indoctrinated or whatever it is. You know, so it just goes so deep, and
it truly does.
Mastering yourself, you cannot skip the balance of the energies. You can't do that. I don't care how good you are at a spiritual gift, how good you are channeling, to doing tarot, drawing, rapping, singing, performing, whatever. If you're trying to be enlightened and fully embody true happiness, you have to balance your energies. You have to deal with stuff.
Balance your energy, folks.
Yeah. You have to deal with the stuff that maybe is pretty hard to look at.
And I feel like those are the things, because I've had that happen several times. People will text me, knowing the work that I do, and I need help with this. And I'm like, okay, my recommendation for you would be, from what I hear you saying, is this. And a lot of it has to do with energy. Silence. After you say that, it's like silence. Because that's the hard work.
Yeah.
That's the hard work
don't want to do that
people don't want to do. And like you said, it's a lot to do with self. You have to look at the aspects of yourself.
Yep.
All of the aspects of you. And there are many. There can be many. And you have to deal with the ones, like you said, that are imbalanced. And so, that's a lot of the times what we don't want to do is kind of check self. And really...
but that requires a look in the mirror. And people
does.
People aren't wanting to do
and
that.
And what I said this to somebody the other day. What we don't understand sometimes is we get triggered so much with people because people are mirrors for us. And you get in their space and you get in their energy and you don't even know why you're mad. Well...
Listen, you got it.
Well,
you got it right there. I always tell people too, another way to know when your energy's not balanced or when some stuff has to change is when your abundance is jacked up. When and not saying things can't arise here and there, but it's not a big issue. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you can't keep money, and there's something popping up here and there and everywhere every week. You know, you think you come out above water, you got some money saved, and boop, here's something else. Or you're not getting as many clients, or you're just this and that. That is because your energy is muddied up. You need to do a check.
Yes.
See what's going on.
Yes.
What's causing you stress and anxiety? Where are you not in alignment? Where are you not in balance? Where's your energy going? Towards a relationship? Towards spending money on stuff you don't need? Like, what is this? And then you go deeper, you know? And then, because when you're in a high frequency and you're in alignment for the most part, money usually flows to you pretty effortlessly. You'll notice that.
That's good. I needed to hear that. That was for me. That was all for me. All for me. Thank you for sharing that. You've talked about a couple of things. You've mentioned ancient wisdom, and then you're talking a lot about the 5D, which I absolutely love. Can you talk to us a little bit about this ancient wisdom that we can tap into, and how do you connect to that ancient wisdom?
All right, so it's so hard to put into words what the 5D is, but honestly, the 5D is a feeling. It's an existence. People think the 5D, oh my God, the earth is about to change colors, the plants are about to change colors. Like, a 5D is a vibration. It's a dimension that exists. There's several different dimensions existing at one time. The 5D is where we really start to see that there is no separation. Where there's 3D, where we are now on earth, there's a lot of fear, a lot of separation. I mean, I feel like this is really the hell that people talk about. And if you don't learn,
you better tell it. That's exactly how I feel.
Yes.
Like, we are in hell. That's what I always say. Like, we're here.
Yeah, and you will have to
y'all
keep
looking to go to hell. People
to learn these lessons.
Yes,
I'm like, the same hell.
This is it.
You know, we make the best of it while we're here and achieve that enlightenment. But the 5D is like, yes, you've achieved a level of enlightenment where, you know, you don't have to come back here if you don't want to. You can go to another star system. That's a whole other.
Yes, teach.
But,
yes.
But the 5D is a feeling. It's a vibration where things manifest. It's just a magical world. I live like this. Like, there's so many. Not just because I'm a medium, but there's so many natural synchronicities and magical things that happen to me on a daily basis.
Yes.
Sorry. Sometimes, like, Kai's really sensitive. Like, if I get passionate about something, she feels it and, like, feels like, it's so interesting. But so it's like the vibration I carry allows me to experience life this way. And I'm still being more conscious and intentional and still working through fears, but not letting them drag me down, you know, keeping that high vibe. And then there's certain reasons why, you know, there's a 60s, 78. I mean, the dimensions I think there's 12, maybe 13. I don't know. I haven't even tried to tap that deep in, but there's why certain civilizations are not visible to us anymore.
Yes.
They're still here, like the, you know, Atlantis, Lemuria,
Palladians.
We see that they just disappear. They're not visible to us. We can only see them in our dreams. That's when we're not over analyzing things and being negative and having anxiety and having too much logic. So, you know, as we ascend, more and more things will become known to us. That's why certain people can channel from certain things, because of their level of soul evolution or vibration, and not making us any better than anybody else. Like, you choose your path, you know, each lifetime, and you can decide what you want to experience. But, you know, for those of us that are meant to channel higher consciousness, we have to, it's a spiritual duty to constantly be purging and healing, so you can continuously, people waiting for what else you got to say.
Right.
You got to keep leading and guiding people. And so when we talk about ancient knowledge, you know, sometimes ancient knowledge is usually gifted to you or come through intuition. Ancient knowledge is not something that, it's something that is already within you, depending on your bloodline, to say, or depending on where you come from. If you are a starseed that comes from a different galaxy or a different planet, and you came here to incarnate, like, it's so many different things, guys, like levels to this. And so you okay, so what was I talking about? Okay, consciousness. And so you can access certain information based on your frequency, based on your bloodline. There's certain rites of passages that you get, or, you know, sometimes some people, you know, they might be born and say they want to go and learn about masonry or being a mason, and you just go and you old enough, I'm gonna go to a meeting, excuse me, this is my this is how I feel about it. And they go to me and they learn it, and they do pretty well. You know, they may not excel and be like the grandmaster or whatever. You know, I know there's levels to it, but some people are already born with that in their blood.
Absolutely.
So they already know stuff about these secret societies that you have to get right, like you have to go through and pay dues and like learn, where some of us just already have it. So it's not that so that's what I mean about ancient knowledge, or certain things that I feel a call, like, you know, spending time in Egypt. But even before I went over to Egypt and spent time there, I had already felt a deep connection. I had an Isis oracle deck. I was always in love with Greek, Egyptian mythology as an early child. I felt extremely drawn to ancient Egypt. And so when I went and visited, I just got my activations. I went back home.
Oh my gosh, I love that, Tahlia.
Yeah.
I love that. That just gave me chills when you said that. I love that. That makes so much sense to me. Because I feel like, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I feel like, especially you're holding your baby, I feel like when we're kids, we have these younger unctions, or you know what I'm saying? Like these things begin to come up, and we may talk to our parents about them. We may mention them, and they're she's just talking, you know. How do you cultivate that and nurture that in your baby? Like, and encourage other parents that may be dealing with that. Like I just jumped to that, but that just, I don't know if that happened to you, where you were told, you know, no, don't talk about it or whatever, or anything like that. I
mean, there was still an understanding about how deep you go into it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because we all knew this stuff we can explain. Now, there's several ghost stories in my family. Like, all of us have experienced things, but there was a cap on it. Like, don't get too crazy. You know, but me, that's exactly what I did. I jumped 2 feet in the rabbit hole, went down, and have not left. But, so for me, I feel like, honestly, Cairo, who is named after Cairo, Egypt, and she's more evolved than me. She's older than me in a sense. So I feel like I was chosen to birth her into existence and help cultivate a space for her to be, by me living in my authentic spirituality and truth, she will be the best. Like, she will fulfill her mission, whatever that is. Like, I got a download about babies born at a certain time period, and not that take away any, they're special kids, please, that are very, very gifted, and some of them are doing amazing things right now. But there were a group of children born specifically during a certain time period to help assist with the ascension of humanity, shifting from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. She has several Aquarius placements in her chart. She's got 5 Aquarius placements. And so it was told, like, you're going to have to nurture this child, because that's why they call them pandemic babies, right? They say they're, because they know they got shit to do. Excuse my language. They got stuff to do. So they're going to be very fast with the learning. Like, they're going to even creep you out sometimes with how they know things, how they look at you when they look at you, what they make it like you feel like they are talking to you. Like, it goes super deep. If you have a quote unquote pandemic baby, anybody born between 2020 onward, you know, to probably the next couple years, you probably got some stories about these children. Absolutely. You know? And so, you know, for me, I just want to be as open and authentic with who I am, and also let her explore her individuality and who she is and what she wants to be and embody, whether it's divine masculine energy, divine feminine energy, being not identical. You know, I'm just like, whatever it is, because you're an evolved being.
Yes.
I gave birth to an upgraded human. Even my oldest daughter.
I love that. Upgraded human. Yes.
She is very gifted. She taught me to prepare me for this time. Because I had her when I was 22. And I grew up. And then at the time, my mom had a 1-year-old kid. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, there was a big gap that my mom took. And then I did that same thing. So we talk about generational things that happen subconsciously. Not that was bad, but it's just like, this stuff is real. So she helped prepare me. Because I always was told that I was a good mother, even when I was a young mother, because that's who I am. I'm a mother. I'm a mother of nations. I'm a mother of the cosmos, you know, cosmic mother, whatever. And so she helped prepare me to be able to be the actual mother that I needed to be for Cairo, so she can fully embody her highest expression. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the way that I look at it.
I love that. Does your other daughter embody gifts and talents?
Yes, she's definitely, for one, in her everyday study, she's a very talented basketball player. My whole entire family came from basketball.
Oh, amazing.
We play. That's what we do. So she's very gifted at that. She's very gifted at singing. She's very shy. She's a Virgo like me. She's probably more Virgo than I am, but she's very shy and reserved, but she's very, very smart. She is that healing energy. She's very popular. A lot of people gravitate towards her, but she's still so humble.
Yes.
And she really embodies a lot of my traits at that age. I see it now. And she tells me about dreams and things she has that come true and all that, and I just talk to her about it, and just leave that space open for her to develop and be who she wants. So yeah, I'm definitely very thankful for being able to nurture women, or future women, or the divine feminine energy, and helping them embody all aspects of their being, though, as well as the divine masculine, or whatever they choose to identify with as they grow.
I love it. Thank you. So beautiful, so beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing with us today.
You're welcome.
We've been going for about an hour and a half now.
I know, it's easy to do when you're talking about cool things.
Yes, it's so easy to do when you're talking about spirituality. And I know I'm going to have so many more questions that are going to come up. But little Cairo, I don't want her to be mad at us. But can you tell us about your upcoming events that you have? You have one on the 12th, you have one on the 16th. I'm hoping to be at both.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about those two events,
Yes.
and then where we can find you on social media?
Absolutely.
And anything else you may be doing?
Yes. So on 4/12, April 12th, we will be having the tantric movement meetup, or event where we're going to learn about tantra from a spiritual aspect. We're going to do some healing through sharing, some healing through body movement, getting very comfortable in our bodies, and that's from 7:30 to 3:30. Those tickets are available on Eventbrite. You can also get them in the Vibe Priestess's Instagram bio. She has the link to the tickets. So yeah, hopefully look forward to seeing all you ladies there, or gentlemen. We want everybody there. And then on the 16th, I'm having another official Mystical Mixer full moon magic event where we will be being very intentional about our manifestations during the full moon in Libra that's taking place. Libra is the sign of relationships, of love, of balance. So my hope is to, doing this tantric event, balancing the masculine and feminine energies leading up until the new moon or full moon in Libra, and setting those intentions. I will be officiating a full moon ritual for the highest good of all involved. Definitely very careful. And that's something I do want to say. You want to be careful about, and that's not, listen, I want to be very careful with my words. When you do these rituals and you do these full moon, whatever it is, especially if you're doing with other people, get to know the people that you're around spiritually. Feel spiritually comfortable with these people, or be very spiritually protected, where you have some reins on what you're manifesting, because sometimes things can come up. It really matters. There is an order to the spiritual world, and how you approach certain events. You know what I mean? With, first of all, respect and reverence for the divine and what you're trying to manifest, especially if you're calling on ancestors and things like that. But whoever's officiating or over the magic, quote unquote, that's done, is definitely important. So you guys just be mindful of that. And so for me, that's why I take great care in the events that I put on and who I have participated in my events. I do a spiritual checkup on myself and others. So we make sure we're cultivating an event, because there is real magic that takes place, guys. And people that leave my events have made great shifts in their life. And I have to toot my own horn here, because I've seen it, and in my readings I've seen it. Confirmation after confirmation of people's lives changing from just the intent that me and my team put in the events that I put together, or the readings that I do. I take great pride in that. So with that being said, I
don't even know why I'm getting emotional as she's saying it. Like, I'm getting teary-eyed. So that just lets you know the energy that is coming from her.
Thank you so much.
Even if she's talking about it.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
So we're going to be manifesting our highest desires and the highest good of all. So be prepared when you come to my events to be activated, to have shifts occur in your life. There's a reason why, I'm called a timeline influencer, a galactic timeline influencer. I can shift your timeline. I can change your life literally just by my intentions and my love and what I create. That's part of what I'm here to do. And I have to say it with confidence, because that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Everything and everyone I come into contact with will remember me, and they will have a blessing of some sort, whether it is kind of being a catalyst for your ascension, to go through some shit so you can be your best self, whatever it is. So my events embody that. So with that said, for the Full Moon and Libra Magic event. Those tickets are available in my bio and on Eventbrite. In my bio on I have several different Instagram pages, so give me a minute. So the official Mystical Mixer is on Instagram. You can keep up with all the Mystical Mixer events on that page, and as well as purchase tickets and be in the loop of our next meetups, because we do meetups and just, that are free, that we just chop it up and heal together. So
those are great too. Yes. I did that, the spiritual conversation.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, the things that happen there.
Yes.
And the people that arrive, like the one I came to, you weren't expecting. You were like, oh my God. Like people just kept coming through the door. Yes. It was so cool.
I'm so grateful.
And then to have people there who are just curious because they know something is happening.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and so then they get there and they're like, okay, yeah, this stuff is real. And then people who think that they may have gifts, and they get there and they get around all this amazing energy, and then they're able to start saying, well, you know what, I just picked up on.
Yes,
it's amazing to see people begin to develop like right
and
there.
That's what I mean. That's
that
what I mean
is
about
a beautiful thing to see.
The intention that I create with everything that I put my name on. And shout out to Jaya Divine with Infinite Beings Association, who also helps curate the mystical conversations with the team, with the tribe every week.
Jaya.
Yeah. So that's what we want to create, guys. So everything that I do is intentional. So when you come to my event, it's not even about the money for me. Of course, I have to make a living, but it's about changing the world and doing my part and helping you, and vice versa. Everything's reciprocal. You guys are giving me something in exchange as well. And that's that balance that we're trying to reach of enlightenment through these events. So official Mystical Mixer on Instagram, and then also my personal page. If you type in the one you seek, I should come up at Tahlia L'Oreal. But if you want to type in my actual handle, it's TAHLIA LOREAL. You can keep up with everything I have going on from different events that I partner up with around the city or different states. And then also Tahlia Speaks Media, which is my company that really kind of governs these events and the people associated with them and bringing people together. So that's Tahlia, TAHLIA, Speaks, SPEAKS, Media, MEDIA, on Instagram. All those have Facebook pages as well. And then, guys, if you want to follow a Mystic Space, it's AMYSTICSPAC, a Mystic Space. That is something I'll be launching here this year, later on in 2022, where it's a hub for mystics, for everything that they need for their spiritual path, their walk. So yeah,
we need it so bad.
Yes, so
we need that. We need that in this city, definitely.
For sure.
In this city, we really, really.
We're gonna get it. I'm working with some very amazing, dope, talented, highly gifted people to help bring what is needed.
I love it. Yeah. I love it because there are some amazing people. We were talking about that before we got started. Just going to one of these events for the first time, and a gentleman walks out and he says a few things, and I'm like, what? And then to watch him begin to channel, and knowing that the person that was just talking to me, him, was not the person.
Right.
That was channeling. Like, it was one of the most amazing things I have ever experienced. Like, I was just like, whoa, like these people are truly talented. I was going to stop, but I got maybe 2 questions.
That's fine. More questions. That's fine. She's about to sleep now.
Okay, Tahlia, how do you stay? Because I love that you were talking about helping people understand and encouraging them to be careful with the spiritual people that are praying for them, that are divining for them, that are reading for them, anything for them. How do you stay spiritually clean, and how do you stay spiritually developed?
Right.
What's your process, or what can you share with people who may be dealing with issues like that, like coming up against, negative energy, and they're trying to figure out how to, like you said, they're muddied up. What do you do?
Yeah, good spiritual hygiene is a must, guys, if you're trying to embody your highest expression and you're trying to be the best human that you can be. I always recommend developing a spiritual practice. Doesn't have to be going to church, but for myself, I'm very disciplined with my spiritual practices, not only just because it's my business, but I check in with myself through whatever divination by checking with myself and my team, my spiritual team, my guides, my ancestors, spirit, the Most High, however it resonates, God, Jesus, whatever, send the master, so many, whatever floats your boat, checking in with them and just tapping in so I know me. Because sometimes it's easy as empathic people to pick up the energies and things of other people just based off of the vibration. Oh, they cool, or they're charismatic, and oh, they wouldn't, being very trusting. And that's another thing, that lessons that we had to learn as empaths or intuitives, to not give so much of ourselves, to put up boundaries. So for me, I work very closely with my spiritual team to establish energetic boundaries, and I trust what I feel the first time. That doesn't mean I act on it or go tell somebody, oh, well, they ain't right, whatever, but I trust what I feel, and then I ask for it to be confirmed to me, and they always confirm it to me one way or another, whether, this is good, you should go for it, or like, no, that's why it's something about it. Yeah. Because sometimes it's hard to trust yourself. So we seek guidance outside of ourselves. Shoot, I can watch a tarot reading or oracle reading, and then I'll be like confused, like, what? That's what? It's not resonating with me because I'm the compass. So if there's just any inkling, your body wisdom tells you, this person may be a cool person. They may know a lot spiritually. They may have gifts, but something about their energy's off. Yeah. It seems like they always got an attitude, or this and this and that. Like that stuff matters when you're trying to do magic and work with people spiritually, guys. And if these are people you truly care about and admire, you can have conversations and be honest, or just ask about it. Because some people, maybe you're the catalyst to help heal that person, or vice versa. Maybe you need an energy change. Yeah. And you're like, well, nobody ever wants to work with me, and da-da-da-da. Well, it's time to look at self. So it's like, though, it's knowing yourself is key to be able to navigate these spiritual waters. And then also knowing that, yes, you are divinely protected. Yeah, your ancestors will ride for you, but do you know who they are?
Yeah, thank you very much for saying that.
Have you met them? Do you have conversations? Do you consult with them when you're feeling confused? I recommend you get to know those ancestors of yours, or the spiritual team that you say is riding for you when people do you wrong. Because if you're not making a connection and talking with them right now, they can't just start intervening all of a sudden. You have to build that connection. So
it's like any relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
And I truly had to learn that, because too, coming from a background where it wasn't encouraged, to connect with your ancestors, you don't need to be doing that. Do you know? We were not encouraged to do that.
Not at all.
We were not encouraged to speak to spirit guides. So, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it comes from just releasing for me personally, was putting my spirituality in a box, having to label it as a certain religion, or because religion is rules to me.
Yes.
And you make me feel bad if I don't rise up to your rules. If that's just not what God is to me. That's not what the universal love, that Christ consciousness that we're supposed to embody. He or she or they or whatever resonates, that's not the energy, that judgmental energy, judging people, making them feel shame. And that's why people separated from religion, because of that reason. So for me personally, if it makes you feel confined, if it makes you feel guilty for being who you are, that's probably not for you. Now, granted, if you are out here doing things, robbing, killing, stealing, that's something else you need to do. That may be your shadow life this lifetime. I don't know. Y'all, for me, I've just really detached off of a lot. It's just those things are horrible. People do horrible things in this world, but that's the duality of where we are on this earth. So I feel like knowing that there is an equally dark side. Okay, you're spiritually gifted, you're powerful, you have the light, you help people. Well, there's somebody equally as powerful as you on the other side, on the other spectrum, that's trying to manipulate people and steal and lie and keep people sick or kill people. You just never know. This is the truth of what this world is, So knowing that exists, you have to also create relationships with your spiritual team, and also know, okay, maybe you need to work with stones, maybe you need to do some purging, cleansing, stuff like that. Because when you're of the light, you naturally attract the dark. You attract the light and the dark.
Like a moth to a flame, folks.
Yep.
That's exactly how it happens.
So, I feel like the more that I elevate and grow and evolve and expand, the crazier shit becomes in the 3D world. But I thank God for that protection and that grace that is there to keep me outside of it.
Well, and I think it's just what you said there too. But if you're not, you want to be protected. Who's protecting you?
Right.
If you're not connected.
Or clear. For that matter. Yeah, definitely. just that covering that's like, yeah, you see this destruction going on. You see what's happening, don't you?
Absolutely.
Aren't you glad that you have the discernment or certain things, or know to disconnect from certain people and situations before you are on the other side of that? Sometimes you have to be careful about, you don't know what people's karma is. You don't know what people are working with. So when you try to, especially as a spiritual quote unquote teacher or media, whatever, like, don't you try to convert people, quote unquote, to believe what you believe, or be like, you don't know what people's path is.
Absolutely.
That's karma in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So when people come to me, I take them where they at, and and if they seek advice or a reading, they can take this reading and do whatever they want with
Absolutely.
it. And that's not my spiritual responsibility, because I'm just reading the energy.
That's good.
So yeah, definitely being responsible with your spiritual energy and protecting it like you would protect your normal body.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You mentioned the word magic, which I love. Tell me a little bit about what you mean by magic, and what kind of magic do you love to do? Because I love magic.
So magic is, to me, is an energy of bending things to your will. Now, we know magicians that we see on TV, and sometimes the shit's so real, it really is like whoa,
yeah,
he really did that, even though it could be an illusion, but it's all magic because it was bending things to your will, doing things to manipulate energy or nature or the weather,
mm-hmm.
or objects, or, you know, God forbid, people. That there's stuff about, like, guys, that's what I'm saying, there's a good and a bad and a good with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most high dark magic is being practiced on this planet right now.
Ain't that
Little
it?
do we know. You know what I'm saying? If you know type stuff.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the more of us that become more enlightened and use magic for the light or for the good, for the elevation of all people to be prosperous, abundant, and seen as equals, we have to fight for the other side.
Yes.
We have to get that balance back. But so as far as magic, you know, for me, and also magic is about giving and taking. That's why you have to be balanced, because it's like, when I put these events on, I'm offering this beautiful magnetic energy to the divine,
mm-hmm.
and celebrate. It's like worship almost. Like how you go to church and you
yes.
commune with like-minded Christians or mm-hmm. Muslims, whatever, and y'all worship God and give praise and thanks, and then the blessings roll down. That's the same thing I do in my events. But it's the honoring of self. It's the honoring of being your truest, authentic self, and paying homage to your spiritual team, your ancestors, your guides, so you can manifest your highest destiny, whether it's through, like I said, you know, a candle, lighting of a candle, offering a certain libation or a drink for ancestors, or doing something, or talking about your ancestors, channeling with them, talking with them that night, you know, sharing stories of healing with each other. Like, you're just giving honor to who you are and your spirituality. So in return of that, we all get blessed.
Amen.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because
yes.
that's the intention that I set.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I do my events, and I'm very careful about who I involve with them, because people can come in with their own agendas and manipulate and, you know, whatever. You don't have to worry about that. You know, as long as you're doing things out of the highest intention, everything else will be dealt with accordingly.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So many gems she shared today. I can't wait to have you back again.
Yeah, I need a part two, because
you
so much.
grow and evolve in your events and in your magic, in your purpose. I mean, I feel like I know you were sent into my life to really just help me. She did a reading for me recently, and it was very powerful and very emotional. I was at work when you were doing it, and I was trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
And I got done. I was like, what? Like, it was like waterworks as soon as I got done.
Oh my
but Tahlia is definitely gifted, folks. And we hear all the time that we're looking for good people around us. I'm getting emotional again. But when you're sent people, you just heard she's from Evansville. She's from my hometown. Like, it don't get no better than that. You know, it don't get no better than that, because I do feel like I was so boxed in when it came to religion and just, you know, the way this world works and the way we're told to walk and talk and be. And when you see somebody that is breaking down the barriers, and just as you hear her talking about doing it all in love, at every one of Tahlia's events, that's what she always says. I remember that I talked to somebody about that when she's like, I don't know what's happening with other people, but anytime you over here at an event, it's always love. It's
Yeah.
nothing but love over here.
Right.
And you really do feel that. You feel comfortable. You feel free just to be you. So I would highly encourage you to look up The One You Seek on Instagram. Look up Mystical Mixer on Instagram. Look up Mystical Space, which is coming up soon. And then the spiritual conversations that are open and free to individuals just to come. And like I said, if you're curious, we lots of folks showed up that were just curious. Several individuals showed up who I know I have some gifts. And
yes, I love those.
You know, I know I have some gifts and some stuff is happening, but I just wanted to come. And then you start asking them questions. Yeah. That was amazing. The young lady that you were talking to, and she's like, yes, like people really begin to open up. And I think people just understanding that they're safe in those spaces. And we don't always feel safe to be able to talk the way we need to talk and explain to people what we're thinking and what's being downloaded, which sometimes we're always like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
I don't even know what that was about.
You're like, oh my God, I
need to talk to
share
somebody.
This, but I need to share it. Who can I talk to?
Exactly.
That's not going to try to put me in the loony bin.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's definitely a safe space where you can be free to just listen if you just want to come and listen, or to really share your perspectives and what's happening to you as well. So highly encourage Tahlia and The One You Seek. Look her up, call her, get a reading from her, come to one of her events, because they're all amazingly magical and filled with love. So cannot wait to share more about Tahlia and all of her amazing events. I will put all of this information in the show notes, so look at the bottom. You can find all of that information for her event coming up on April 12th and on April 16th, 4/12/22, 4/16/22. She's using numbers. I noticed that. So numbers are everything, people. Numbers are everything. I did. So see how she keeps you on your toes? See, you need her around. So I love you guys very much. Thanks for listening to Road Trip to Wellness. Can't wait to bring you more amazing people in 2022. My prayer has been top-rated podcast with celebrities, and this is my first celebrity right here.
Oh, look, hey,
Tahlia
I'm embody it now.
Baby.
You know,
Tahlia
I'm
L'Oreal. She's going to the top. I'm telling you, you see her graphics. She's on there looking like, telling you, Diana Ross, honey. It's amazing. So love you, and can't wait to talk to you guys again. Bye-bye. We are out. Happy Saturday, everyone. It is Rona with Road Trip to Wellness, and I'm so very excited to bring you this episode of Road Trip to Wellness. I had lots of surprises in this episode, interviewing Miss Tahlia L'Oreal, The One You Seek, your mystic, your cosmic messenger and timeline influencer. She is so many things. And so, today I am interviewing here in Indianapolis, Indiana, Tahlia L'Oreal. She is a medium. She is a spiritual guide. She is all of the things that I just shared, and she fully embodies every aspect of herself, which is absolutely why I wanted to interview her. So I had the opportunity to meet Tahlia a few months back and was just drawn to her magnetic energy of just being an amazing spiritual person and mystic. And so she has several events around the city that she does. And what I love is that Tahlia is really drawing lots of people in that are feeling the shifts that are happening in our world, in our timeline. And she is just really creating spaces, safe spaces for those of us who are spiritual or mystics, mediums, just every part of spirituality. She is creating safe spaces for those people to come together. Her mystical mixers are places where mystics can party, just like she says in this episode. You'll hear some people go out, some people, go to the club. We get together and we talk about spirituality and we share our spiritual gifts. And I'm so grateful to have gotten to know her. I received a reading from her and it was very, very powerful. And I just wanted to share this beautiful soul with you as well. So we talk about so many different things on this episode. You'll hear us talking about, like I said, spirituality. You'll hear us discussing her being a medium and how she fully embodies that, how she fully embodies every layer of herself, being sensual, the divine feminine, the divine masculine. We touch on so many spiritual concepts and ideas in this episode that I think are important for everyone. And so just take a listen, sit back, relax, take a listen, and get to know a little bit more about Tahlia L'Oreal. All of her information will be in the description box for you guys to reach out to her, to attend any of her events, or to partake in any of the services that she offers. But again, just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. And so the next voices you'll hear, just like you hear your pastor say in church, if you're a church person, the next voices you will hear will be the personal spiritual conversation that I had with Tahlia L'Oreal on April 6th. And I'm just delighted to share. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope you're able to take away some nuggets to really use in your own life, or to help you fully embody every aspect of yourself. So yeah, let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe this episode. Like, share, and subscribe the Road Trip to Wellness podcast. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Next up is Miss Tahlia L'Oreal. Wasn't that the dopest episode ever? Oh my gosh. So many surprises. Like I said, I didn't want to do any spoiler alerts, but the big thing for me was that she was from Evansville, and I had absolutely, seriously, absolutely no idea that Tahlia was from my hometown, that she was born and raised there as well. Insane synchronicities. And that's what I'm saying. When you know people are meant to be in your life, you just know. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please take a listen to everything that she had to share. Take notes, contact her. You're more than welcome to contact me as well if I can help you with anything, or if I can offer any more information to you as well. But I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll stick around with me as I bring you more amazing people, just all aspects of spirituality, so that we can grow, learn, and evolve together. So yeah, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I look forward to seeing you for the next episode of Road Trip to Wellness. Mwah. And as we're talking about Tahlia's events, Full Moon Magic, the Mystical Mixer, is happening tonight, April 16th, from 7 until, and she will be doing a full moon in Libra ritual. The full moon in Libra is tonight. There'll also be food and libations and readings, but amazing manifestations happen with Tahlia at the helm, and really putting her big energy into the ritual for your manifestation.